So it's the new season here, or at least season for me, 2024. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you all are having a terrific year so far. Hard to believe it's almost February is almost over. We're almost 2 full months in. But anyways, this will be the first of the windfoiling diary or vlog entries for this windsurf foiling season of mine, which began a couple weeks ago on February 1st. Now, those of you who do follow the channel will remember that I was calling this the Wing to Wind vlog. So the goal is ultimately, for me anyways, to be able to do a true how-to tutorial or video series on how to get started and get going and get on foil and eventually, do maneuvers and jibes and all that kind of stuff, windsurf foiling. Okay, now let's just cover some of the takeaways from the day's session. I've already touched on a few. As I mentioned, I was very excited to finally, after a few months of waiting to do it, to pair the Neopride Glide Wind foil with the Fanatic board. And not only do they look fantastic together, as you can see from these images, very important, but that extra 300 or so square centimeters really helps with the light wind takeoffs. Next, I was, as I mentioned, I was very excited that I was able to take off and fly within my first 2 or 3, I'd say, attempts, particularly in the marginal conditions I had in that first set, which you can see from the chart is this first sort of bump. This despite, having nearly 8 months off, as well as a kind of a really badly rigged sail. I was still able to fly, and so that was kind of an early win for the day. And so, yeah, very excited to fly, get on foil my first time out this season. Okay, now the bad. So unfortunately, my problems with taking off on my regular side, I'm right-handed, so my regular side would be left hip or left foot forward. Those problems continued on this day and unfortunately in the sessions since. So it being in my head and a mental block from last season unfortunately continues. Conversely, my takeoffs and my comfort with going and getting on foil on my goofy side is pretty glaring. All right, it's just like two different people. None of my flights are that great right now, but I can definitely get up easier in a shorter takeoff, shorter runway, and fly longer with more stability on my goofy side. Next, on the bad news is as you can see from these clips, I am still not in the footstraps, and I think, and I know I said this quite a bit last season in my video entries, but I really think it's time. I'm just going to have to just deal with it, deal with the suck, embrace the suck, and just force myself just get into the straps early, whether it's pre-planing or just after planing or whatever. I see different things on different videos, but just around the time of you're getting going, I've got to get at least into the front strap. So, and the reasons for this are mainly because in thinking about this particular session that you see right here, as well as the one since, which unfortunately I was not able to properly record. But anyways, the point is that in thinking about these past or these first 2 sessions of this season is that I feel like I'm at the point with windsurf foiling that I was with winging when I was just, basically getting on foil, getting airborne, having these little kind of mini flights, but I had just no concept, no control, and consequently the flights would be really, really short or weak and usually result in a crash. It's a consistent problem that I can't have the long controlled, you know, just chill flights. Like I said, I'm at that point where I was with winging, where, it's just basically the board and the foil just sort of have a mind of its own. Now, what helped me out, what turned it around for me with winging, was getting pressure in the mast. Okay, and those of you who wing may have seen my video. If not, maybe worth taking a look. The foil, and in particular the mast, just has no feedback. It's got no direction, and so because of that, it's gonna go wherever it wants to go, or wherever the forces act on it, and that's usually downwind, or basically wherever the bias of the sail rig is. So, like I said, what turned it around for me with winging was getting pressure in the mast, and the way I did that, not that I want to make a winging video here, but was by redoing my stance, as well as basically leaning back more, throwing my shoulders back, resisting the wing, and thus putting an upwind bias, or a bias on the upwind rail of the wingboard, and consequently the mast. And that just changed the game for me right there. So to bring it all back to where we are here, and the reason we're here, the windsurf foiling, I think I'm at that point where I'm stuck in this mode where I can't really properly get that upwind bias, or that bias on the upwind rail of the board, to put pressure on the foil mast. Or if I have done it, it's by just dumb luck. Okay, so there's no consistency, which is what we want, right? So all of this is to say that I'm now thinking that by being in the footstraps, that's kind of exactly where your feet and your body weight or center of mass need to be in order to counterbalance the weight and force of the sail rig, but also put that desired bias on the upwind rail in order to get pressure into the mast. That'll now enable you just to cruise, just to fire off upwind, just like it does for me now with winging. All right. And the funny part is that, to be honest, and those of you who have seen the wing to wind videos, to be honest, it has been kind of my suspicion since last season that if I just got into the straps, like everybody keeps telling me to do, that would just unlock everything, right? That would be the key. So last thing I'll say on this point is that, yeah, I mean, particularly on my regular side, which is no secret now, I struggle mightily with, I've decided that, heck, I'm barely taking off or flying, unfortunately, to my regular side as it is. I might as well use that time, those opportunities and those runs, to increasingly get comfortable, more and more comfortable, getting into the straps and planing in the straps. And then eventually even getting my rear foot back there. Again, I think I foresee a lot of crashes upwind, but I think it's just got to be done. In other words, I don't really have much to lose, in my opinion. And folks, that is my windsurf foiling diary. If you are an experienced windsurf foiler and just happen to stumble across this video, let me know what you see. All tips and pointers are welcome. And until the next time, this is Ben with AWKWA. As always, wishing you good winds and happy sailing.